just put this in the right place. First of all, can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can. Yay! Hey Deborah, hey Paula. Hey Jackie, hi Trace. How are we all this afternoon? Hi Bernice, hi Anthony. Hey Jackie, hi Trish, hi Merit. How are we? We okay? Sticks out raspberry tongue. What are you two talking? Are you two having a fight now? Hey Amber. How are your tootsies? Still on my feet, so all's good. If I think about them, they hurt. So if I don't think about them, then they don't hurt. That's how I'm sticking with that one. Oh, thank you, Tristy. Sorry if that's not how you say your name. My brain is not functioning on all levels this afternoon, so you'll have to excuse my brainlessness. It seems to be a weather thing. I'm not used to all this wet weather. What is this stuff that comes out the sky? Do you have posh nails? I do, because Jenna wanted to celebrate my achievement over the weekend, so she decided, for whatever reason, and I still don't know why, that she wanted to give me some nails, do my nails. I've never done my nails in my life, and I'm finding it very, very weird. Well, but you couple that with thunder and lightning, and it gets a little bit stressful. I don't understand what thunder and lightning is. What is that stuff? Especially when you've got an umbrella out and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna die. Anyway, so good afternoon everybody, or good evening. Welcome to Shrewsbury, welcome to my hometown, and welcome to my hometown tour that I've got today. You will know me mainly for being the Egyptian guide in Luxor and Cairo sometimes, but today I'm back in the United Kingdom, so I am bringing you a tour of where I grew up, kind of ish in a way. So we're going to be taking a tour around Shrewsbury, going from the Welsh Bridge to the English Bridge. Do you have Egyptian roots? Not that I know of, but I am planning on getting a genealogy test done before I leave, so wouldn't that be hilarious if I do have Middle Eastern roots in my blood? So that would be so funny. No, I moved out to Egypt 24 years ago after meeting my husband, and kind of stayed there. Basically, that's how the story goes. Sounds very exciting, doesn't it? But I am back in the United Kingdom to see family and things, so I thought I would bring you some home counties action while I'm here. So this afternoon we're going to be going from the the Welsh Bridge to the English Bridge, and talking about all the history in between. Now, I don't profess to be an expert, but I do know a little bit about something, so hopefully you'll enjoy the tour. Jane, you need to join Leslie Yes, yeah, that would be good. Come and see my Getting to Know Me tour on Saturday, where you can ask me any question you like. Doesn't mean I'll answer them all, but I will do my best to answer it, but I might have to get wine. Maybe a good idea. So without further ado, hi Kath, hi Gillian. Hey Chris, let's get started. Welcome guys to the Welsh Bridge and Shrewsbury. That's right, Friday the 9th, I'll be doing Ask Me Anything tour. You can ask me anything about my life in Egypt, my life in England, and my tour over the weekend as well, if you so wish. You can ask me anything you like. So we are at the Welsh Bridge here. The Welsh Bridge was built in 1793 by John Tilly I should say, and John Carlin. It replaced the medieval St George's Bridge it replaced the medieval St George's Bridge, and I do have a picture of what it possibly looked like way back then as well. So this is what it would have looked like. You have a look at the pictures. We've only got artist impressions because obviously photographs were not available in the 1700s. So this is what the original bridge would look like. So a very grandeur bridge, but we would have had a tower on the bridge as well, because we were wanting to keep invaders out of our town. If you look at the map that you have, you will see that Shrewsbury is actually on like a U-bend. So you can, a U-bend on the river. So you can actually, the town is actually quite secure. We have our own natural moat system here in Shrewsbury, and to access the town you have to go in through or over the bridges to get into the town. Now, it was John Leland who described the bridge as the greatest fair rest and highest upon the stream is the Welsh bridge, having 6 great arches of stone, so called because it is the way out of the town, and hath at one end of it a great gate to enter by into the town, and at the other end towards the Wales a mighty strong tower to prohibit enemies to enter into the bridge. So it was quite a lovely bridge there. Approximate population, if you know offhand, oh gosh, it's about, I don't know actually. That I don't have an answer to, Bonnie. Sorry about that. I don't know what the population of Shrewsbury is. Is the War Museum still in Shrewsbury? Yes, it is. It's in Shrewsbury Castle. Unfortunately, we won't be going near there today. What is the name of the river? Sorry, Paula. Yes, this is the River Severn. It's one of the longest rivers in England. Of course, I have to live near one of the longest rivers in England. Now, I kind of find this river a bit funny because they call it a river. It's more like a canal from where I come from. It's okay, no, don't apologise. You can ask Bonnie. If I have an answer, I will tell you. If I don't, I will answer it the same way. So yes, this is a beautiful river, one of the longest in the country. It's called the River Severn, but because I've lived in Egypt for so long, it kind of is more like a canal than a river to me now. But anyway, I've been spoilt, that's what it is. So let's walk up onto the bridge now. Actual fact, we might take the slinky from the opposite side, but let's have a look. Thank you, Deborah. 38,000 people, crikey, that's a lot more than I thought. Obviously we've had a baby boom here in Shropshire. And Paula too, sorry. Both of you guys, you're awesome, epically awesome as always. And we've got some swanage going on down here. I actually made friends with a duck earlier, a little mollard. He came, I think it might be Bertie down there. Look, I named him Bertie, as you do. I've got some beautiful swans, look at those. He obviously thought I had food in my bag and kept coming in and attacking my feet, which was really quite funny. But these are beautiful. They were playing earlier. I'll post the pictures online later on when I can get them off my camera. But I think these are still quite young, these two. But they're all chilling out together, having a bit of a snooze. Know how they feel. These two are the cleanest swans I've ever come across. All they've been doing all afternoon is cleaning themselves. So funny. But also, swans are quite lethal, and they're also protected birds. They are protected by the Queen. You're not allowed to kill a swan because that is paramount to treason. So you're not actually allowed to touch swans at all because they are known as the Queen's bird. Even though Henry VIII used to stuff them and eat them. So, go figure. Did you? Oh, wow. So, it wasn't my obelisk, was it? You know, I have a habit of seeing obelisks where there aren't any. So we're just going to go and see the Charles Darwin monument from this side of the river, because by the time we get over the bridge on the other side, they'll be starting to close it up. So it's easier to see it from this side. I can, because I've got the zoom, we can zoom in on it, which will be better.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see if we can get some slinkage as we get over here. This is Theatre 7, by the way, so this is our new theatre. You can go and see all sorts of shows there. But what I want to show you is on to the side of the river. Right. Now, in in 2009, this was built. Okay, this structure was built, and it is it's quite a funny structure, really. It is was built for the bicentenary for Charles Darwin. All right, so the bicentenary of Charles Darwin, and it's called Quantum Leap. It was unveiled in October 2009 and was created, to, as I said, to celebrate the bicentenary of the birth of Shrewsbury's most famous son, Charles Darwin. The sculpture sits on by the River Severn, as you can see, and thanks, Deborah. And thank you, if you see what I mean. It stands at 12 metres high and is 17.5 metres long. It's made of concrete sections and weighs over 133 tonnes. 133 tonnes. It was designed by architects Pierce and Lowe. But what is it? Any ideas? Because we don't know. Some say that they think it's a skeleton of a dinosaur, or maybe it's a DNA helix. We're not sure. All we know is that in Shrewsbury, the locals, us Salopians, have nicknamed it the Slinky. So it may be a helix, it may be a spine, it may be a dinosaur. But here in Shrewsbury, us locals call it the Slinky. So that is our monument to Charles Darwin. Not quite sure how we'd feel about that, but anyway, there you go. It is quite impressive, I have to say. It's quite an impressive feature, but we all kind of like did kind of give it kind of like that sideways look when it was first unveiled, as they say, huh? Salopian, no, not Thalopian. Deborah. Salopian. So, Salopians, we are Salopians. So, if you are from Shrewsbury, born and bred, as I am, we are called Salopians because we're part of Salop. Salop is in Shropshire, Salopian and Shrewsbury, Salopian. Salop was the original name for Shropshire and the Shropshire area. So if you are born in this vicinity, you are by proxy called a Salopian. So we are all called proud Salopians because we like being proud of who we are, and we love the fact that we don't actually have an accent. We didn't get the Brommy accent, the Telford accent, the Mancunian accent or the Welsh accent that are literally boxing us all in. So we managed to keep ourselves to ourselves. We managed to stay posh. And there's two things. There's two ways of saying Shrewsbury or Shrewsbury, and there's been a big discussion about this for years about whether it's called Shrewsbury or Shropshire or Shrewsbury. But it all depends, my darlings, which side of the river you come from. If you come from one side, you'll call it Shrewsbury because you're a bit common, or if you come from the other side, you'll call it Shrewsbury. And of course, I call it Shrewsbury, like strawberry and Bath. I'm not posh, by the way. I'm a farmer's daughter, and I belong in cow poop. But I do call it Shrewsbury, and my dad laughs at me because he calls it Shrewsbury. So there you go. I always had ideas above my station when I was a child. That's what it is. So, well, let's go. Hold on, let's see if I can sneak across here quickly before any cars come or go, in this case maybe. Right. So we are going to go over the bridge now. That's good, nice. You're welcome. Now, way back in history, there was a law. And this law is still very active today, which is quite hilarious. It's actually a law from around the Middle Ages. And this is when England and Wales were very much at war with each other. And the law goes that if you are a Welshman coming across the Welsh bridge at midnight, if there is an Englishman standing in the middle of the bridge with a bow and arrow, he can shoot you dead. And you will get away with it. Sounds a bit unfair, a bit unreasonable, but that is the law. And that is still an active law that has not been changed in somewhat of 200-300 years. It was changed from Salop to Shropshire because the word was translated into French. The pesky French. See, they get, you know, honestly. But isn't that beautiful though? The trees are absolutely gorgeous. Hey Wendy, how are you today? It is stunning. Now over on the other side we have the armory. The armory is this building here, but this building used to be over here, and it was actually moved during the 1800s, but it was a timber building when they first moved it, so it's kind of a bit of a cheat when they say that they moved the brick building, because that wouldn't be true. It was actually a timber building originally. Now it wasn't a very good armory because it was too close to the river and their gunpowder and things would get damp, so this is why they actually sold it on. Now it's been a few things over the course of history. It has been so this building actually in front of us was actually designed by James Watt in 1806. Now James Watt was actually renowned for designing something else in the Cotswolds, and it was this building here, which is quite an impressive building, I have to say. He actually built this building, but he was the one that designed this one over here as well. It's a beautiful, beautiful building. Even though it's called the Armoury, it's a bit of a white elephant, as I said, because it wasn't a very good armoury. It was sold twice after its replacement, but it finally ended up being bought by Lord Berwick of Attingham Park. Now, Lord Berwick wanted to make it into a spa that rivaled all the other spas in the area. But unfortunately for him, it didn't go to plan, because they thought there was a natural stream here. It ended up not being a natural stream, henceforth they couldn't open it as a spa. So he sold it on back to the barracks again, so it was back in the army's hands, and was a temporary barracks for Copthorne, and it actually was housed as a hostel during World War I for the Belgian refugees. In the 1920s it was sold again to the Morrises for their bakery, and this is when the building was moved to the present site. The bakery survived for 50 years before standing empty for 20, but now is one of the most popular pub and restaurant sites in the town. It's quite a nice place, lovely place. Thank you, Paula. So it's a really lovely place actually to go and sit on the river anyway. It's beautiful. So we're going to come away from there. I'm good. How are your feet? My feet aren't doing too bad. They're a little bit sore now because I've been standing on them for a little bit. Oh, thank you, Paula. Thank you, Judith. I've been standing on them for a little bit too long today, but it's actually not my toes, even though for those of you that you don't know, I actually did a charity challenge at the weekend. So I walked 80 kilometers before collapsing on Sunday morning, and I've managed to bruise every single one of my toes. But the problem I have with my foot is actually my right foot swollen, which isn't very helpful. But anyway, so that's that. Yes, they are like poles of planters, because we are actually known as the town of flowers as well. Every August we have, I was getting to that bit, we actually have the flower show every year down in the quarry, which is just at the end here. We also have our town swimming pool there at the moment, and we like to keep up the reputation of being the town of flowers. So everywhere you look today, you're going to see lots and lots of flowers. It's a beautiful, beautiful town. So one thing that we do well is horticulture. We do that actually quite well. So this was called the Victoria Quay, or Victoria Avenue. Obviously probably named after Queen Victoria. We do love our Victorian queens. Now we're going to cross over again. I keep zigzagging across the road. I do like a bit of zigzag-ish. Such a busy town, Shrewsbury. Let's go again. Now we're coming into an area now. This is called Barker Street in medieval times, and this was the stinkiest part of the town. Absolutely, in medieval times you would not want to come here at all. people won't stop for you to cross. No, because we have traffic lights. If the lights were on red, then they'd stop, but because I'm a bit naughty, I cross without the lights changing to red. So just need to get across when I can. Becky, if there you can see the Victorian houses up there, very affluent place during Victorian times, but during medieval times this was a bit of a stinky place, because this is where the tanneries could be found. Okay, so the tanneries, where the skins would come here, they'd trim the skins off, and then they would rinse them in tubs of water from the river. And then to get rid of any of the hair on the skin, they would sprinkle urine over them and leave them to war in a warm place. So can you imagine the stench that would have come from here? Hello, the puppy dogs, let us out. Are you going for walkies? Yeah. Everywhere I go. Yeah, exactly, makes sense, doesn't it? So yes, so they would coat them in urine and leave them in a warm place. Place that the hair would then rot, and then they would be able to scrape it off, and then they would stoke it for up to 3 months in a mixture that could contain anything from dung, so poop, to beer. Bit of a weird combination, but this is what this area was for. This was the tanneries here, which makes sense because we're not actually that far from the market here. Now we're going to go and have a look at this beautiful building here. This is actually, I have to say, this is probably one of my most favourite buildings in Shrewsbury town. It's called Rowley's House, and it dates back to the reign of Elizabeth I. Once it was owned by William Rowley, a wealthy merchant from 1681, Rowley decided to build an extension to his home, which ended up being the first brick building in Shrewsbury. The house has always been known as Rowley's House, and used to house the town's museum. Oh, can you imagine what that would have been like, Judith? It would have been stinky, stink. Isn't it beautiful? I just love this building. There's something about it, but you can see that he was definitely here around Elizabeth I's reign, because when we get around the other side, you have that Tudor building. Now, the Tudor buildings, you'll see them all through the town of Shrewsbury. A Tudor building basically is a mixture of timber and brick. Back in time, it would have been more wattle and daub, so you would have a brick underneath or stone underneath, with the timber for the structure, and then you have wattle and daub, which is a mixture of dung and straw on the outside to insulate. No, sadly it's not. So they're actually going to use, hi Tess in South Africa, they're actually going to use it as part of the university campus now. I'm not quite sure what they're going to do with it. I'm hoping they're not going to make it into dormitories, because that would be awful. If they make it into classrooms, maybe not so much of a travesty. But yeah, it is a shame that it's still not a museum, because it was a really lovely museum. So I'm not quite sure why they've sold it on. Maybe the upkeep of it was too much. But if I was the town, what I would have done with it is actually made it into a National Trust building, or sold it to National Trust. So there we go, it's a bit of information about the lovely Rowley's house and mansion. Yeah, exactly, should have been. Totally agree with you. It is beautiful, but I'm sure there's a lot of ghosts and ghoulies in there, I tell you. There used to be, I think it's this bit here is where you used to go, when you were in the museum, you could go up to the bedroom, and it used to have the 4-poster bed and all the increments within the actual within the bedroom from the Elizabethan time, and it was just such a freaky room to go into. It kind of gave you the heebie-jeebies, it really did. Hi Francesca, how are you today? Hope you're well. So we're just going to go up here now, and we're going to go on the lookout for the Bellstone. Hopefully we can still get in to that area. If not, I might be able to zoom you in on it, which is quite important. Now, the one thing you'll notice about Shrewsbury is the unbelievable amount of churches that we have here. We do have an awful lot of churches. There's about between 7 and 9 churches, all within the town centre. So quite a lot. Tudor buildings again. Hi Margarita. go up here and go to the zebra crossing. And you can see the great mixture of Tudor, Elizabethan, Victorian and Georgian townhouses that we have here. All the buildings are very much of the old style, not many of the new ones. Okay, so if we were to take the hill here, we'd end up being by St Chad's Church and going into the quarry, but we're not going to go that way. We're going to keep going straight down. We can still go in because it looks like they're going to close the gate in a minute. I don't want to get us locked in, so I'm going to zoom you in from here because the last thing I want to do is get stolen. Now, as I told you, Charles Darwin was the son of the town, and Charles Darwin had to have something that influenced him in his time, and it was this piece of granite stone that was his influence. Now, this is a piece of granite stone that originally came from from the Lake District area, Cumbria, but when the Ice Age, when the thawing of the ice caps came, this actually tumbled from there, got washed all the way down to Shrewsbury. Now it's called the Bellstone because when you were doing market trading in the time, Victorian times, they used to hit the stone whenever a trade deal was done, and it's supposed to be that this piece of granite would actually ring like a bell, so it was like you would hit it when a big deal was made. Now, Charles Darwin was obsessed with this piece of stone from a young boy, especially when he found where it came from, and it actually led him into the study of geology, and from geology he went on to the sciences, and in the sciences he was the guy that came up with the first ideas of evolution. But we do have this beautiful building here as well called the Morris Hall. Absolutely beautiful. But it's amazing to think that such a brain and such a obsession for things, for sciences, all came from a piece of granite. This piece of stone here. Isn't that amazing? Yes, we are, unfortunately. This is the problem with big companies taking over. But we do have one thing, which is this building here. Let's just turn it back out again. This is called the Market Hall. Now, unfortunately, this building is a bit rubbish, but the old Market Hall was stunning, which I'll show you in a minute. But let me just tell you a little bit about it first before we get into that. Now, there are two market halls, but the first we're going to be seeing, which is this one in front of us, which is the newest one. Yeah, all of them are made of stone here, Francesca. It's a very, very old town, this one. Very old town. The original building here was actually built in 1869. But by the 1960s, the place was a rat-infested and totally run down and needed renovation. So a decision was made to take down the old building and to replace it with the new one that you see today. Now, I don't know what the architects were thinking. I think it was this whole revolution of concrete. Oh, thank you, Colleen. Of concrete buildings and making things in different designs. And they must have thought this was very, very smart and a lovely, a lovely looking building. But the thing is, they took this building down. I'm going to put it, if you have a look in the chat, you'll see this was the original market hall. Now, personally, oh, thank you, Jackie. Me personally would have said renovate the old building, please, because that was beautiful. No, exactly. It was an awful, awful decision. I mean, it does look like a multi-storey car park, to be honest, and the clock tower is just ugly. the thing is with the clock tower, you can see it for miles, which is just awful. But anyway, c'est la vie. This is what happens. This is progression for you. So yes, they took down that market hall and replaced it with this one. Now, it didn't work for quite some time. The market was just a place that you might go to. It wasn't very popular, but it had a whole new facelift a few years back, and in 2018 it got the best market or farmers market in the country award because of the shops inside. Not obviously the design on the outside, but the shops inside. We even have a gin bar in there, which is really cool. You get every flavour of gin that you could possibly want in there. Yeah, the food hall is really, really good. Unfortunately, we have a town full of students who are, you know, I don't know what it is. I feel really intimidated here. When I'm in Egypt and people start, I'm just like, yeah, shush. I come to England and I'm just like, oh my God, people are talking to me. Run away. Yeah, our food hall in the market hall is absolutely delish. It really is. We've got lots of speciality stuff. Yeah. I wonder if they'd be so rambunctious if they knew how many people were watching them. Right, let's go up into the old marketplace now, which is the town square. I love the square. It's a beautiful place. It is a lovely town. Possibly, Becky, possibly. They think they'd be Insta famous. One thing I do love here is all the little streets. We've got Swan Hill there. Beautiful, isn't it? Go up to the old marketplace now. Now, the old marketplace was built in 1596, and you'll definitely see why. I mean, I don't know where we went wrong with building. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? 1596. This was built and financed by the Drapers Guild, and it had a double purpose, actually, with the open ground market hall for the general public, and an upper floor which was used by the drapers as a market, as their cloth markets. It's beautiful. I know, we just don't have the same skill as we had then. We can build bigger, but we can't seem to build more beautiful. So, absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. Now, it ended up being a crown court. It was converted to a crown court, and then after the crown court, it's now a cinema and cafe. Well, there are some absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful places in Shrewsbury. There really are. And we have the fabulous Tudor buildings here as well. Have like a whole row of them here, which I absolutely love. And then we have a look at the clock tower. Look at that up there. Beautiful, isn't it? If I give you a sideways view, and you can take in the whole building. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely love it, I do. That's it. Oh, hold on a minute. My gimbal's gone funny, peeps. Gimbal down, people. Gimbal down. Hold on a sec. If it gets caught on something, it gets really upset, my gimbal. Yeah, it's true, but at least a lot of these older buildings have survived, and that's what's most important, I think. There we go. I'm just going to start speaking Arabic to people. It'll really confuse them. Look at these beautiful buildings here. It's absolutely stunning, right? Absolutely love it. You are more than welcome. So we are now going to leave the square and we are going to go. You're going to love the name of this next street. We're not very inventive here in Shrewsbury. We kind of like say it as we see it. So we are going to go up Grope Lane. Now, can anybody guess why we call it Grope Lane? I'll guess. See if you can figure out why we call it Grope Lane. Yes, by the laughing emojis, I'm saying that you've definitely got it. You can be as rude as you... No, this is where... If you were a lady, you would get a good groping if you came up here. So if you wanted cheap thrills, come up Grope Lane. It's about 100, it's supposed to be 166 steps from bottom to top. And it leads us up to the Bear Steps. A bit like Lover's Lane, yeah, I guess it is. We even have our own Harry Potter shop, look. All right, Harry. Yeah, like a bit of Harry Potterage. Welcome to Hogwarts, School of Witches and Wizardry. Bit odd, isn't it? Middle of Shrewsbury, but there again, I suppose it makes sense because it's down a side street. So, we're now into the Bear Steps. It's a beautiful building here. Gorgeous, isn't it? Another beautiful building. But we're going to go up these steps here. She says. It's now an art gallery. It was a public house before, but we do believe in the maybe between the 14th and 1700s, there were bear fighting pits here. But when it was actually made illegal to have bear fighting pits, they actually built a public house over the top instead. So down there, I'm not going to go all the way down there because it sounds like there's a load of fighting going on. But we do like a bit of a ruckus here. Yeah, very loud. But there you go. That is the Prince Rupert Hotel. Oh God, the thunder's back. The Prince Rupert Hotel is an old hotel, and Prince Rupert was a Welsh prince. It's also one of the most haunted hotels here in Shrewsbury, and it's said to have the Grey Lady in there. Okay, so the Grey Lady, let me tell you about her. God love her. She was jilted on her wedding day. Her fiance ran off with her, I think it was a bridesmaid or the maid of honour, and she was so upset and devastated by what happened, she ended up taking her own life in room, I think, number 15. Now, the problem was she didn't leave because it is said that every time a young man went to stay in the room, his bed sheets would be stolen off his bed while he was sleeping. Now, the present owner of the hotel has actually has made it into a conference room now because it happened to him twice, where he found his bed sheets once in a lift, and then another time they found them in the in another area. So he's made it into a conference room now. She's been seen going across the road and through traffic. Yeah, probably. That wouldn't surprise me. She's probably looking for a fresh victim now, that's why. Okay, so we are at St Auckland's Square and St Auckland's Church here. The structure is actually built on a medieval site, but it also is standing on the highest point of Shrewsbury, and got one of the biggest spires here as well. The spire stands at 56 metres and the building was built in 1475. But it is beautiful. Beautiful building. Let's take you around the other way. It's a beautiful, I do love the church buildings here because they are absolutely astounding, the buildings here in Shrewsbury. You can see, yeah, don't worry Jackie, we're going to see the abbey as we go down to the English Bridge. Now, as I said, we do love our churches here, and we have two very close to each other. So we have St Auckland's here, and then next door we have St Julian's. St Julian's is one of 4 Saxon foundations in Shrewsbury, actually. Let me just show you from up here, because you get a good view from up here. Here we go. This is St Julian's here, right next door. And the tower dates from the 12th century, where the present nave was designed by Thomas Pritchard, who also designed Iron Bridge, which is one of the first iron bridges in the world. So we're taking that. Let's go down, because you can actually get a really good view of this from down on the street level. Oh. There we go, there's the Three Fishes pub. Lovely old pub, that one. We've got seagulls out now. There's beautiful old streets here. I just love the old cobbled streets. Isn't that a beautiful building? Very oldie worldy, look at that. The Tudor house. Yeah, I do love it here. And then let's get down here and I can just give you another view back of St Auckland's. Okay, this one here. Beautiful. So beautiful. It's okay. It's not too bad. It's not like the small cobbles, the more larger cobbles, which is quite good. So we're all right. We're good. We're golden. But thank you. It was a little bit dodgy earlier on when I came down this way because it was a little bit slippy underfoot. It's dried up now. I know, the flowers are just beautiful and the fragrance that's coming from them is just divine. Look at this. Look at that old timber on this building here. Look at that. You can just feel the age coming, emanating from these buildings. Thank you, Trish. Evening. So this is High Street, and now we're going into Wildcop. Wildcop here. Again, beautiful, stunning old buildings. Now, we had Henry VII come to Shrewsbury when he was on his way to Wales to fight against Richard III at Bosworth Field. Shrewsbury was the first major town that he came upon, that he reached as he was on his way out. On arrival, he demanded to be admitted to the town, but the provost of the town, a man called Thomas Mutton, refused to let him in. Which, you know, doesn't make sense. I'll answer your question in a minute, Jane. Thomas Mutton refused to let him in, and the reason being, he said, "I know no king but Richard. Henry Tudor shall enter this town only over my belly." It's a bit of a daft thing to say to somebody that's going to win the war and become the new king of England. But this upset the townspeople, as they knew Henry would lay siege to the town if he wasn't allowed to come in. So they had set about changing Thomas Mutton's mind. The issue now was, now that he'd made such a humongous statement, he didn't want to lose face, because, you know, losing face was not a good thing to do back in those days. They did not want to lose face whatsoever. And so they had to come up with an idea of how to solve this issue. So what they did was they came up with an ingenious plan that would keep both Henry and Thomas happy. So what they did, they told Thomas to go and lay down on lay down on the Welsh Bridge, and that Henry was to dismount from his horse, step over Thomas's belly, and then he could ride into the town. So that's exactly what he did. So neither men lost face, everybody got what they wanted, and Henry VII came and stayed here. This was his hotel or his lodgings while he was in Shrewsbury. And he rode off to meet Richard III, won the Battle of Bosworth, and he became the very first Tudor in the line of Tudors to rule England. So, we had our little piece of tootsies. My tootsies are fine, don't you worry none. Don't know about the rest of me, but my tootsies are okay. Oh dear. So now we're going to come down to the tanneries. We've got a couple of stops left on our whirlwind tour of Shrewsbury, which is such a beautiful town, this one. I do love it here. Now, Jane asked me whether I prefer Egypt or here. It's a bit of a difficult one. No, it's not really a difficult one. No, my heart lies in Egypt, without a doubt. I love the Egyptian history more than anything else. I do love English history, but I don't know, it's just so murderous and so... I mean, I know, you know, when I say incestuous, the Egyptians were a little bit the same. But, I don't know, the history seems a lot simpler somehow. Not so confusing. Oh wait, have we been seeing stuff? Have we got things following me again? Is there a reason the light is blinking on the top of the floor? Don't know. In that, I'm just going to keep walking. Well, after 24 years, I all should be settled, really. Now then, right, I just wonder if I can... Where's he going? Of course he's going to go the opposite way. Let's just get across here before any more cars come. Right, so we can see across the road there we have Tanner's. Tanner's was voted the best national wine shops in the country, and they've been open for 175 years, starting in 1842, which is a little bit of a strange thing, an issue, because William Tanner, the gentleman who owned the business way back then, was born in 1839, so he's actually only 3 years old when he opened his business, which is a little bit difficult, but anywho. So was rather young to start the business. Then he went off to sea, returned to sea captain, and he then Tanner bought the business in Shrewsbury that was owned by Thomas Southern and Sons, who did open their business in 1842. So what he did a bit of a cheat, and he just basically took the date on because it was already a working business already. So I guess, you know, same but different. It wasn't his business, it was somebody else's. So the business had been open since 1842. Interesting thing about the shop though is Tanner's is all down here, so all of this is Tanner's, okay? But this is the most important part here, because this shop front is the original Victorian shop front. It's not been changed. All it has is they've restored it properly. So this is the original shop front for Tanner's. I'm going to give you a side shot so you can get a long shot of the building, because it is beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that stunning? That whole building there is just beautiful. And that's the original Victorian shop front there. Absolutely gorgeous. Love it. Okay, let's turn it back again. Oh, hold on a minute. Ah, got this stuck. Right, so then, now let's go to the English bridge. I'm not going to go down under the bridge, I don't know. Let's see what it's like down there, because at this time of night we get some rambunctious individuals around at this time of day. And there I don't mind rambunctiousness. We'll have to have a see. It is amazing, it's the vibe. But if you've noticed though, this whole town is very sympathetic to its history, and that's the one thing I do love about Shrewsbury. You know, we have kept our old buildings in pretty good shape. It's just lovely. You used to live across that bridge, really? What, in Abbey Foregate, Jane? It can get a little bit testy here at night time. Have a look. We'll have a looky look. Oh, London Column. Ah, no, it will. I used to go to karate in. Oh crikey! What's the school out that way? I can't think now. It'll come to me. It is. This is busy. But this is one of the main roads going out of town to the bottom end of town. That's why it's so busy. Yeah. So, we've now gone from Wales to England, pretty much, in one tour. I think it's pretty impressive. Oh, I think we can get down over that way. Oh. Crossed over now. What an idiot. Right, hold on a minute. Let's see what we can do about this. Rectifying this situation. Bear with me a second. So I'll be able to show you the bridge from the top, which will be easier than going all the way down. So hold on a sec, because I'm a doofus. Right, bear with me a second. That's the smartest thing to do. But never mind. Let's go this way. So for those of you that are interested, Father Cadfael, right, what I'll do is actually we'll go down there and I'll take us over there because I've got to go that way anyway to meet up with Jenna afterwards. But let's go and have a look at the Welsh Bridge first. Uber. So the Welsh Bridge is here. This beautiful bridge. Look at that. That's such an iconic Shrewsbury image, that one. It really, really is. So we don't actually know the date of when the original bridge here was built, actually. It's a bit unclear, but we do know it was a wooden structure. Would have been built here originally in the 12th century at some point, and it was replaced with stone. But it wasn't all stone originally. There was a tower houses and a drawbridge, which was made of wood. The stone bridge was replaced in the 1700s with a rather fine, steeply arched bridge that distinguished it from the Welsh Bridge. By the 1900s, the bridge was not suitable for the increase of traffic, because literally it used to go. I don't know if I've got an image of that. I don't think I put it on there. No, unfortunately I didn't, because I couldn't find a decent image. But it used to go up and over in like an arch, so you'd have to go, how the horses managed to get up and then literally down the other side without killing themselves, I'm not sure. But they had to make it more flat. So what they did was they modified the bridge so that you can see to the bridge that you see today. Is this English? Yes, this is the English bridge. Now, on the English bridge, you can see, let's just zoom you in. Can you see the dolphins or the fish faces all along? Those two fish faces there. Now, it is said, and this is actually true because we've actually had it over the fish heads, the flooding, when it gets flooded here, gets so bad that if it actually reaches the fish heads on the bridge, then the cellars of the townhouses will be flooded. Now, the worst flooding that we've had has actually seen it really right almost to the top. So the flooding can get really bad here. The flooding is just horrendous in this part of town and in the Frankwell where we started. Frankwell's worse than here actually, which is where we started from, and it's destroyed businesses so many times there. Their insurance must be insane. Right, so let's go across the English Bridge into mainland England. and have a quick look for Father Cadfar while we're here. Then we've got the tower, one of the towers over there, and it's Attingham Tower, I think that is there. We've got Shrewsbury School. You can actually walk the whole of the river walk. I've not done it, so I might actually give it a go, and maybe we can go for a walk along the river before I leave next week. I will be going back to Egypt on the 17th of September. I'm going home, people. Oh, Deborah, that's hilarious. Oh dear God. Right. Here we go. Right. Across the bridge. Of course, the bit with the writing on is the other side of the bridge. Oh, typical. Right, let's see if I can zoom you across the other side so you can have a look at the signage. Not really. That's not helpful, is it? Okay, I need to go across the bridge. Wait. Oh, I can go now. Hold on to your hats, people. We're off. Okay. So here we go. There's a bit of information on the bridge itself. I've not read this actually. The English bridge was built in 1768 to 1774 on the site of the earlier bridge. In 1925 to 1927, it was taken down and completely rebuilt. Its steep gradient halved its width, increased by 26 feet, and every sound stone in the original structure revised. The bridge was opened by Her Majesty the Queen on the 13th of August 1927. Amazing. Who has a blue and white jacket? What are we talking about? My sister is chomping at the bit for you to go back to Egypt. She misses your tours. Oh God, love her. Yeah. And Spinksy, yeah, my Spinkles apparently keeps mewing. Look at that. Isn't that a beautiful view? Look at that. It's so pretty. So pretty. I just love the views from here. Yeah, I am missing Egypt very, very much, I have to say, especially my Spinkles and my Gazzyballs, which are my animals. I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. Yeah, so I will be landing, hopefully, in Luxor at midnight on, well, it's on the 18th, isn't it, really? But I will be posting some tours when I've had to think about it next week. Who was Queen in 1927? No idea. I do miss Egypt. Of course I miss Egypt. I do love it here. Don't get me wrong. I do love coming home for a visit. I do. But I do love going home. If that makes any sense whatsoever. King George V, thank you. Look at this. Oh look, we've got the council waving at me now. Smile, I'll make you famous. I love it. These people. This is very true, and the bed I'm sleeping in at the moment has got more lumps than lumpy porridge. Absolutely. Look at this. I have no idea what this old building is because I don't usually come this way. The only reason I'm bringing you down here is because we're going to go see the Abbey and Abbey Foregate. So don't ask me any history down here because I ain't got a Scooby-Doo. If there's a sign, we'll read it. But it was built in 1896. There you go. What's it called? Hold on. Shrewsbury something school. Hold on. Let us. Oh, there you go. Shrewsbury National School, 1708. Enlarged in 1896. There you go. Now you know. Now we know what it is. I know, right? Used to be the football ground, used to be down there. but they've moved it, thankfully, outside town now. So at least Shrewsbury doesn't get so full now. Thank goodness. But what we've come to see is the Abbey. There is a little museum here. I've never been. No, because you never ever look at stuff on your own doorstep, right? Never. And I'm no exception to that rule at all. I have been meaning to come to the Abbey, actually, to come and talk to them to see if I can give us a tour inside and do a signal check. But I need to get Jenna to uni first. Once I've done that, then I will definitely come and have a chat with these guys. Over here, heard her. But isn't this building beautiful? This Abbey is so pretty, and this is where the Father Cadfael's stories were based on. It was on this Abbey. Did you see that? I just realised it behind you. Okay, so here's some of the information that you want on the Abbey. There you go. Right, let's see if I can. There you go. So please do take a photo. The Abbey Church of St. Peter and St. Paul was one of England's largest Benedictine houses. Its abbot sat at the head in the House of Lords, and Parliament met in the chapter house in 1283 and in 1398 in the church. It was founded in 1083 by Earl Roger de Montgomery, a relation to William the Conqueror. The finished abbey was over 100 yards in length, and the Masonic building spread over a wide area to the south. As a result of the dissolution of the monasteries, Henry VIII in 1540, the Masonic buildings were destroyed, but part of the Abbey Church was allowed to remain and survive as a parish church for the Holy Cross. So that's just a little bit of information there for you. Let's have a look. The Church-in Shroud. Just having a look. Hold on, let me read this, shall we? I have no idea. I can't find anything on it. To be honest, I've never really been that interested in churches, and that sounds awful. Give me a temple, and I'm all over that. But actually, I just appreciate the architecture of these buildings. They are absolutely beautiful. Let me just give you a long shot, because look at that. So pretty. Isn't that beautiful? Let me just take you over this way a bit. Up. There we go. It is a stunning building, and this is the Abbey. So if you Google search Father Cadfael, this is all based in this Abbey right here in Shrewsbury. Beautiful building, isn't it? Yeah, for the architecture, oh God, I've gone off again. Gimbal down, people, gimbal down. Oh, well done. Off again. So there you go, guys. That is me over time by again. Oh well. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. It's been my absolute pleasure and honour to show you a bit of my town and where I come from. This has been Shrewsbury, the town I grew up in, or grew up by. I hope you've enjoyed coming with me this evening. It's been my absolute pleasure and honour, as always, to show you around a little piece of my history and my life here before I moved out to Egypt. Oh, you're very welcome. That is it for me this evening. I'd like to say thank you very much for coming. Thank you so much for all your gratitude. It means so much to me. It just helps me keep going and helps me bring more and more tours to you. Now, sponsorship come up again on the Facebook forum. I just want to put my tuppence worth in before I say goodbye. I'm going to sit down because my legs are hurting. I will be doing some sponsored tours because some of you have been gorgeous and have sponsored me, so thank you for that. But they are not going to detract from my normal tours. I will be putting on different tours or first time tours to the sponsors, and oh, thank you, Joyce. Can we see the phone box, please? Yes, you can. Hold on a minute. Just to let you know, nothing's going to change in my schedules. I will still be putting one Hago tour on a day minimum for everybody, but then once or twice a week there will be a couple of special tours for the sponsors. But I'm going to wait to do that when I go back to Egypt, just so you know. Okay, so just so nobody feels excluded, the only thing that the sponsors will probably get is the first opportunity to see brand new tours that I put on, so you'll get first dibs on those, but then I will be bringing them to everybody else as well. But that's after. So who wants to see a phone box? It's a TARDIS, people. TARDIS. There we go. A nice old phone box. Hold on, let's just turn you the other way up so you can see it properly. Looks a little bit battered, doesn't it? They could have, made it look a bit better. It looks a little bit tired. Bless it, God love it. In the countryside, we have lots of these, and we make them into little libraries, sort of like little libraries that you can go and hire books from. Look, phone box and a church or abbey. Beautiful, right? So that is it, my lovelies. And don't forget, if you're not following me already, press that follow back button, and then you can keep on top of all the shenanigans that goes on over the coming months. And there's always shenanigans, you know me, I do love a bit of shenanigans, so come and join me for that. But for now, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for your gratitude. It means so much to me. It helps me keep going and helps me earn a living, so thank you so much for that. So G&T and food, okie dokie. If you say so. I'm going to say I'm getting drunk tonight because Deborah told me so. So guys, thank you very much for joining me today evening. It's been my absolute pleasure and honour. Take care of yourselves. So all that's left for me to say is good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you all again really soon. And actual fact, tomorrow I've got a tour tomorrow, so do check that out. I think I'm going to Clun Castle tomorrow, so come with me to Clun Castle tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you then. Take care, love to all, see you soon. Bye everyone. Bye. I will, I promise. Take care, guys. Love to all. Good night.